What's up, beautiful people? Well, this video was challenging because I've been, I have having problems with NVIDIA drivers. Linux and NVIDIA doesn't go well at all. So, well, the good point is, the problem is solved and the video is just here. In today's episode, welcome to the HTML course, and in the today episode, we are going to talk about tables. Tables are so important HTML topic because allows us share information share structure information like using tables. For example, just right there we have three different examples because each context has their own possibilities or have their own focuses. So the idea is share all of them and understand how to use the HTML tags and their corresponding semantic usage. So let's go to the code. And also in this lesson I'm using styles, but yeah, don't worry, styles is just like a visual helper to improve the HTML representation, because if I remove the styles and I'm just saving, okay, let me see. As you can see, the style is not good at all. So I am going to use styles just for make good looking the page, and I think that's enough. So don't worry about the CSS because only the CSS is just right there, and if you want to copy, okay, you can see that is the all CSS. And maybe if you see some elements that the behavior is different, like just right there that use two different columns, or just right there like signs that use two different rows, don't worry, because this result is using, we get the result using HTML tags, so it's not related with styles. Even if you see, before I comment this, give me a sec, you can see that the rows and columns has the same behavior, as you can see. So don't worry about that. So the first example is this one, and maybe in the first example we are going to cover all table tags, like as you can see, table, and maybe we can start telling that table is the same like form. When you want, when you want to create a table, you have to use always at the beginning or inside all the others tags the table as form. So you are going to use table, and in this particular case we are using border, but this border is not relevant at all because it's just for format the visual representation. So don't worry if you can change that visual representation using CSS, so that's not a big deal. And maybe in this hand is in this part is the most important thing. Let me collapse this one. As you can see, the following HTML tags, or the children HTML tags that table has to use, are thead, thead and tbody. That's all. Thead is like the table's heading. Maybe when you say, okay, in this column we are going to put the employee name, in this other one we have the role, in this other one we have the department. That's the same. So once you want to explain, okay, in this table goes the time, in the other is, maybe if we're talking about the schedule, so we have the time section, we have the each weekday, like Monday, Tuesday, and that's all. But as you can see, maybe this is not functional at all. Maybe once you use JavaScript you can use different interaction, but you can remove the head and maybe just give the columns. But yeah, user doesn't have any idea what is this column about. Yeah, you only have names, maybe a career or a profession, and I don't know what is this. I don't know if talking about a specific context, or what is this. So the better is use the head to say, okay, this is the department, so you're welcome. And that's all. So the next one, or the following ones, are the TR that represents a table row. So it's not a big deal. Table row is just the row or the horizontal elements, just right there. Horizontal, remember, if you maybe are confusing about columns and row, remember that rows are the horizontal elements and the column are the vertical elements, and that's all. So the following, and well, you always have to use the table row even in T-head or T-body. If, as you can see, we can use table row, because if we don't use table rows, maybe we can obtain a different behavior. Maybe we can make some experiments. Maybe there is not a big chance a change, but the idea is use the semantic way in all cases. So I highly recommend use this only for a structure as the better as possible the information. So, and the last one element is the th that represent, well, the th and td, because once you use the t head, you have to use the t head because it's a table header, and maybe it's the representation of the cell about the header, but you have to use th once you are specifying or using the t or the header about the table, yeah, like employee name, role, department. But if you are at the rest of the table, maybe in the T body, you have to use the TD. That the TD is represent data cell, like as you can see just right there. This reference is so important, so I highly recommend use VS Code, because this is a standalone behavior. Once you put the cursor over any HTML tag, is only show the representation. In this case, the TD element represents data cell in table. So that's all. So this table data, like John Doe and software engineer development. As you can see, we don't register elements like John Doe, Jane Smith, Sam Wilson, and the other one. No, we use each register or each entry using the table row, and in the table row we are going to use each different column depending on the header, on the table header. So yeah, we use John Doe because corresponds to employee name, and we use software engineer because we are talking about the role, and we are using development because we are talking about the department about John Doe. So I think that's all. It's not a big deal. So remember, table. If you want to use T-head, feel free. I don't care. But you have to use T-head or T-body. And after that, you have to use always 100% of the case, use a table row, because it's the horizontal aggregation, or the way we can represent the information and group the information. And at the end, if we are not talking about the header, we are going to use the TD, table data, and if we are on the header, we have to use TH, maybe only for semantic representation, because again, the functional representation is not clear at all, so feel free. Let's go to the next example. In this example, we are going to use the collapse columns or collapse rows. This is used once you want get this result, like this subject. I don't know what is this subject in the USA. It's just an ChatGPT example, but this is science. So as you can see, if we have the same result, or well, if we have the same data cell, and maybe we are going to use the same value in two maybe close columns, you can use this. Well, it's a bit weird. It's more, I prefer use this one, that maybe because we are talking about same something in the same column. So I can understand that, yeah, the science class is go to 9 to 11, but this one is like, okay, I have this class on Monday and Thursday, to the 11 to 12. So it's something weird, but let's see how this work. So the same parent, table, t-head, table row, table header. Okay, and the t-body, or t-body, I'm sorry. As you can see, if you want to use extra space, you have to use, okay, the basic table row and table data. And if you want to use more space, you have to use an attribute, an HTML attribute. This is not new for you guys. Is this common? Also, we use attributes like the forms. So this is not a big deal. And the TD, you use row span. Remember, rows, because you want to use multiple rows. It's not like, hey, I'm going to use this row and this other row. Yeah, it's something like that, because you are going to the row at the top and the end row. So you have a vertical behavior, or you want to get vertical spacing. So you have the row, because we are not talking about columns, because our data is not a throw columns, is just about throw rows. So that's why we use row span, because we are telling to HTML, hey, my science data element is going to the following row, so just get the space. And what about the element left? What happen if we want to maybe add something like in this row? So let's see what's happened here. So as you can see, we have to be a bit clear or smart once we specify each element, because as you can see, we have 6 columns. But if the row at the top use another row, that means that the following row doesn't have to use that specific space, because the row the before row are using that space. So as you can see, we only have 5 data cells. But let's see some practice like this. What happens if I use this? And as you can see, it's something like, okay, if there is if there are an extra element, if just go to another column, and it's a weird behavior, so I don't recommend that, so avoid that. So that's like maybe a functional behavior, because yeah, we tell to the data cell, hey, use 2 rows, so this gonna use this space and this other space. It's like if we use something like this one, like science, and maybe this is also correct, so don't worry if you are not clear. Use one. Okay, I am wrong. What's happened here? Okay, this one, I am sorry. Well, I'm get lost where we are. This one. Okay, that's perfect. And this one, we have to repeat signs. So yeah, something like that. I don't know what is happening. Okay, this I have to remove this, and as you can see, we have the same. Well, the same. No, well, we don't have the same behavior, but we have the same representation. That is science used right there and there. But if you want to use the semantic or the correct semantic way, use row spans and avoid this science. And maybe this it could be a bit confusing, but because what happened if I use science right there and I use right there, so I'm gonna let this you try, guys, that. And the other one is just right there about the PE subject that use the call span. So we are not cover more rows again, we are going to cover horizontal space, that means columns. That's why we use call span, not row span. So in this particular case, has the same has the same behavior. Maybe this is easy because each table row has a horizontal representation. So if you use call span, just take care about well, just take care about don't give more elements in the table row, because if you say if you do something like this, okay, that's wrong, because yeah, there is an extra element. So be careful about that. And maybe if you want to expand this, okay, a lot, and we have to remove this, and that's correct. So yeah, this depends on what are you needing, and I think that's all. I'm using, and well, and the tier, and the last element or example about table is this one. In this one, we use the attribute scope, and the attribute scope allows about maybe accessibility. Once people maybe with disabilities are using or consuming our page, allows, well, have the enough tools to just look about the information. So if you use this call, we are telling to the accessibility tools, hey, this is a column, and hey, this is a row, and there is a row, and I think that's all. But as you can see, it's the same behavior, or well, are the same HTML tags like table, t-head or t-body, and table row, and in both the scenarios, and table in th about table header if we are inside of t-head, or tr that about table row in t-body, and the td the table data if you are on or inside about the body, and use each element corresponding in the horizontal order. Remember, the horizontal order is about laptop product, 1990 price to quantity, and this a big result just right there about the total of the sales. So I hope this video was helpful. Remember that we are continuing with the HTML course, and maybe I think we are close to the end, so I hope these videos are helpful, and well, that's all. See you.